Hey there, welcome back to my channel. This week is a little bit different. This week I am starting a new mini series within these planner videos. I'm calling this series Journal Chatups. Essentially, I have quite a number of journals that I need to catch up on, and I thought that instead of simply doing them off camera, I could do them on camera and then record some chatty stuff over that at the end of it. So I'm calling it Chatups because Chatups sounds like catch up a bit, and I think that's funny, though now that I'm saying out loud it may not be that funny. In any case, so for this particular video in this series, I want to talk about, I guess, seasons and planners and how, some planners just don't, there's a season for every planner, I guess, that you don't have to stick with what doesn't work for you. So this current series of Chatups, I will be catching up on my 2019 and 2020 weekly artsy journal kind of journals. Words are hard. And basically, these are journals that I started in 2019 and 2020, and prior to that I did similar journals in 2017, 2018. So I was pretty confident that I could keep up with it when I started them in 2019, but I kind of fell off the bandwagon at some point because 2019 was a busy year. It was the year I got married, and moving out, staying with your partner and all that is a very different kind of life. And then in 2020 I was optimistic. I thought, let's continue and I'll catch up at some point, and then COVID hit. So between that and all, like by the time 2021 rolled by, I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna try for 2021 because I'm going to end up with too much backlog. I'll come back to it in 22, maybe 23, maybe, but I have not. So it's a good thing too, because otherwise I would be dealing with 4 years of backlog instead of 2. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is that there might be a season for everything. In this particular video, I am actually filling up my Kokuyo Jibun Teko. This was purchased in October, I think, October 2019, and I wanted to try it out as a weekly planner, like a day-to-day planner, because they do have pages from, I think, October or November. So I started really early, tested it out for about, I think, 2-3 weeks, realized that it doesn't work out for me, and decided that, you know what, this would make a good artsy journal planner for the coming year. So at that point I was still quite optimistic about being able to complete 2019 and keep up on 2020, not 2022. So I went with it, I started it, and essentially optimism, right? Essentially I did manage to do all the art stuff at some point. I can't remember when I finally finished all the art stuff. It might have been sometime last year. But what remains is the bulk of the actual journaling, which requires not just the artistic, splashes and dashes of paint and headers and all that, but the actual sitting down to write what actually happened at the point in time. And that the whole process just takes a lot of time. And in a way, I'm glad that I stopped in 2020, because I think telling myself that, I'll catch up, and that, I'll catch up, and eventually I will come back to doing this like full-time again, maybe. Like, giving myself that break was great, because it gave me the distance, I guess, to now say that, you know what, I don't think I will come back to this again, because it's just too much work. I have too much going on now in order to maintain such a journal. Like, I have my bullet journal, I have my weeks for planning. Like those are planning journals, but in terms of like journaling like this, I don't have the capacity to constantly be saving little tidbits of information of I'm probably going to pronounce this word wrong, but ephemera, like all the like your stickers, your packaging and all that. I don't have the juice to save all that for a time that I have the time to sit down and decorate it, and then I have to go through that stack of things to like figure out what fits on which date, because I don't do it immediately. So essentially I just cannot. And as much as it does feel like giving up a bit, I feel like I also have to recognize that life has changed. I mean, I have 3 cats, which I'm not living in my parents' house anymore, which means that there's a lot more going on. I mean, we have to cook our own food, we have to do our own dishes, do our own laundry, etc. And then if/when kids come along, that will be another I guess that will be another pull on my time. So that's definitely something to consider as to whether doing something like this would even be vaguely sustainable. And I think the answer to that is that it will not be sustainable for me. So in that case, then that's what I mean by, like, I guess there's a season for different planning styles, and for me, like, the season for these artsy journals, like weekly spreads and all that, has kind of passed. I think I would still enjoy time blocking in vertical weeklies, which is what I'm thinking of doing for next year, but that is more of a planner aspect than a actual artsy journal aspect, because something like this just takes up way too much time and like mental resources, and it's just more than I have, and I feel a bit guilty, I guess, but I think ultimately I gotta say that it's okay, because I have to tell myself it's okay, otherwise that feels like kind of treating myself badly, and it's not a good thing. But yeah, anyway, so I guess I am going to be letting go of this, like, once all these are filled and gone to archive. They're already almost done, so I kind of do want to complete it, so that kind of closing a chapter. But I think that the kind of journaling that I have now, that I'm doing now, is a lot more sustainable in the long run. I mean, if you watched last week's video, my current journaling is essentially my Hoboing Tree 5-year deco, where each day is essentially, I think it's basically 3 to 4 sentences at most, sometimes 5, but it is six lines on the A6 page. It's not a lot to fill in, and I did get a photo printer last week, so I will be adding some minimal collaging and things like that to the right hand side for like memory keeping and things like that, but it will definitely not be to the extent of what you see here, or what you're going to be seeing here in journal Chatups, because these were done when I had so much time. Like, literally, I would take out my paint, I would take out my brushes, I would take out my metallic paints, my dip pens and everything, and I'll like plan it out, color coordinate different color palettes for each week. In fact, every single page in here has like a designated fountain pen ink color that I intend to write it in, so that it coordinates like nicely. So that's the extent to which like there's an aesthetic going on. So something like that, I mean, with fountain pen ink, I had to clean out the pen in order to load the new ink. So something like that is just not going to be sustainable when, well, if hopefully I'm chasing after like a child or two. So and I do have other interests, other I guess hobbies, projects that I want to give priority to. So in that case, this particular style of journal planner has to, I guess, like, be retired. So yeah, so what I'm trying to say, the short version is that I guess there's a time and a season for certain types of planners, and I suppose we just have to recognize that sometimes it doesn't serve you anymore, and if it doesn't serve you anymore, or if something needs to give, just kind of like what I'm trying to do here is like give myself the grace to just it's okay, you can let it go. It's not a failure to let it go, and just do what works for you now. And what works for me now would be what I'm doing with the Hoboichi Deco. I think it's sustainable. I don't think that it will be completely unsustainable, or at least I think it will be something I can sustain for the next 5 years. That being said, if there is a child in the next 5 years, within the next 5 years, I might change my tune, and in that case, it's a different season, and we'll see how things go from there. So that is the long and short, I guess, of my thoughts on journals and seasons. So in this particular one, I did enjoy the doodles, the shiny ink, but it's just not sustainable to keep this up anymore. I used it as an excuse for my fountain pen inks, as an excuse to use my inks, my metallic paints. But these days, I don't have the time to take them out for this anymore. I mean, I would like the time to take them out for other projects, so that would be part of why I would like to retire this, because retiring that would then open the door for open up space and time for other art projects that I would love to work on. So yeah, that is the end of I guess that's my summary of this week's journal Chatups. I hope that it kind of sort of made sense to you, and I guess I'll see you next week for another video. Bye!